Hello and welcome to the Bullring. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53. I partner with Coach Dave Academy and Impel Motorsports to bring you this week's Learn to Drive video for super late models at the Bullring as part of iRacing's 2025 Season 2 Week 3 official action. Hard to believe we're already about a quarter of the way through the iRacing official series, but if you guys can, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. It does a ton to help out my channel. I'm just a local racer here in Wisconsin. I race late models. My daughter Sydney wants to race karts this summer, and fingers crossed, we're getting real close to that action. So it should be pretty fun for any like, any subscribe that you can give really helps us when it comes time to talking to sponsors. They love being able to see, the extra views, so to speak, besides just on track stuff. So it really helps. If you guys are interested as well, we do sell setups through Team 53. You can sign up, link in the description below. I do personal coaching as well, and I've done a really terrible job of kind of letting you guys know who I am because I really didn't feel like it mattered. But I am about 12 years on iRacing, 7,500 I rating on the oval side of things. So when I talk to you guys, I mean, I've worked with hundreds of people over the last few years, and I kind of know some things. There's some tips and tricks that really help people at certain tracks. And the bull ring is one of those where it's really small, really close quarters. And if you're overdriving entry to the bull ring, it's really going to hurt you on exit. And likewise, if you're underdriving exit, it's really going to hurt you down the straightaways. So let's dive into a qualifying run here. If you're using the Team 53 setup this week, we're using third gear. So that'll be something kind of interesting for you. We are going to tire heat. So we're going to come out here and get as much heat as we can in the tires. And then we are going to head out, and I believe it's going to be our first lap is going to be a 994. So we'll get a nice run here going to green. Speed at the start finish line is always something we like to measure. So here at the Bull Ring, we're doing 108. And then a big thing too, this track is really narrow. You know, it's only 3 lanes of racing room, really about maybe 5 car widths wide at the most. So it's really important that when you guys are going down the front stretch and even down the back stretch, that you're maximizing as much of the track as possible. So you can see here how close we are. We're about 1.5 squares off the start finish line here. And if you look in the cockpit, you can kind of see that these dash lines almost line up with this second rivet for me. Now keep in mind I have triple screens and everything is set up so that my window net in the super late model particular is pretty much where it would be in my real car. So keep that in mind here as you guys are working on things that you really got to be up the track. So like I said, it's about 1.5 squares when we're looking from the far chase cam stock away from the wall here. So we go down the front stretch, and you can already see we're starting to turn in almost at the start finish line and lifting probably this first set of dash marks after. We'll apply a little bit of brake and really get that nose set and the weight transferred. And you can see when I go under braking, I'll straighten out my wheel so that way I'm not creating spin. A lot of times I'll see guys go into turn one and they just loop it. And if you look at their telemetry, a lot of times it's because they've got a little bit of too much steering wheel input in. So we drop that wheel input. We're going to get this car nice and low. Our goal is to get those left side tires, just as we're doing, on or below this white line. It's covered in rubber for a reason. So let's look here in the cockpit. You can see here we're almost straddling it with our driver. This is probably the lowest point, and it really is kind of right over us. And you can actually physically feel the car or see the car kind of de-wedge and change kind of how it's balanced through that corner. So we're going to get nice and low. And then just as we start this second set of dash of turtles down here, that's where we're going to get on throttle. And we're just going to kind of feather it. And then as we get straighter, we're going to drive it off, and we're going to point it right here at the bull ring where it says that on the wall. And that's going to be our point to get to our widest point on the straightaway. We're not going to worry about getting right up there right away. Just let that car carry up to there. So we go down the backstretch, and you can see I'm not even full throttle all the way down the backstretch. We start to lift about the time the pit entry starts. We're going to brake. And then we'll be getting off the brake here, and then we're going to roll it into the corner. And just like 1 and 2, our goal is going to be to get as low as we can here on the corner. And then here as we get to this last set of turtles, the second, 3 from the end, we're going to throttle up and we're going to drive it straight off, and we'll point it basically at the bull ring on the wall again to get that straight drive off. So if you're feeling like the car is washing out towards the wall on here, wait just a tick longer to give it throttle here. And if you feel like you're looping it on exit, take a look at where you're giving it throttle, and it's most likely going to be a little bit earlier um, than where you're looking at there. So pretty easy drive off for that lap. I feel like I probably left a little bit of time on the table, but that's something we can grab later on. So let's give you guys a lap inside the car, just so you can see what it looks like. So I think definitely probably about another, I'd say probably has about a 960 in it, just by me hitting line, just not hesitating so much here in 3 and 4, but should be a pretty good lap. I think it'll get a good baseline for a lot of you guys for this week as well. In terms of race trim, it's going to be a little across the board. We've got a 158 as our best lap. I get a 177 here. I think this set of laps is a little bit better to look at than the 158. So it's going to look pretty much just like qualifying. You're just got a lot more weight in the rear of the car. So you got to, if the car's just going slower, really is the big thing. In terms of passing zones here into the Bullring, entry to 3 is probably the most popular, and dive bomb into 1 and entry to 1 are probably the most popular. So if you guys are going down the front stretch and you see a car down here, kind of shading inside, or somebody's really aggressive on the brakes on entry, I see this a lot where guys will follow somebody for a couple laps, they're really aggressive behind someone on braking, and the guy in front is just outrunning his race. And what typically happens is that in this braking zone, then right about here, somebody's going to get turned, whether it's because somebody's dove into the corner and they're going to catch that left rear quarter, or if it's, they're just having to feel like they're parking it because this guy's sacrificing entry to gain exit. Somebody's just running into the back of them. So that's kind of a big thing there that you've got to watch out for. Entry to 1, that seems to happen more than entry to 3. 3, because the backstretch is rounded, it seems like it's a little bit easier to get through, but we definitely have that to look out for. Other than that, it should be a pretty straightforward super late model race this week. Not really much tire saving. It's only 85 laps at the Bullring. So you guys should hopefully get some green flag runs in, although this track does tend to attract cautions just because of what we talked about. But hopefully it's a good week for you guys. You can have a great week of racing, and we'll be able to see you guys in the next video. If you can, head over to our Discord, join it. We're about 5 or so subscribers away from 500. We're going to start looking at a Discord giveaway for us reaching the 500 subscribers. So make sure you head over there. And yeah, best of luck, and we will see you guys in the next video.